to show that I'll go home, so am I wrong?
One that's been here that haven't been breaking the law. Of course, I know getting here illegally is breaking the law, but beyond that, if they've been here, living here and they've been productive, I believe they should find the path to citizenship. I don't see how that hurts the country if someone is proven that they are doing the right thing. Like, but the criminals, I agree, get rid of them. Like,
yeah, Christy is very nice. She's very nice. I like her.
Yeah, like she's a doll. She's really sweet. Listen.
I dare anybody. Oh yeah, hey Joy, hey. I dare anybody to try and pronounce no like a real Australian.
Get up here, Joy. Get up here.
That's what he said.
No, that's not what he said.
They talking about deporting. Vance said out of not 25 million people. Trump had. If you read what you listen to the guy that he Homeland Security guy. They talking about even DACA recipient. They literally talking about deporting everyone that's so-called illegal. They even talk about reversing the status of that the Haitians were given to come work. He want to even reverse that and deport them. Like he's talking about deporting everyone that's not a citizen. He's talking about deporting them.
No, I think you guys are conflating like you do everything else.
No, he said it. You must don't read his policy. Don't listen to him because he literally said it.
Trump gave the DACA. He offered Democrats in his first administration. He offered Democrats what was it, $1 million or something ridiculous like that. He offered them citizenship for absolutely all the doctors and other people. He was like, I'll take the heat for it. He even famously said it on TV and put them at the gun, and they walked away from it. So I would say a lot of that fear-mongering thing is part and parcel. Look at Chuck Schumer and look at Nancy Pelosi and say, well, why didn't you take Trump up on this deal back then? If that was the chief concern, you had him. He was going to give us $1 million. Doctor, he far exceeded what was originally asked for. I think it was 700,000. He offered over $1 million, and they were basically going to go with that. And Trump said, "I'll take the heat for it. I'll take the hit in the polls. I'll take absolutely everything. I'll take my base," and tell them they have to suck it up. And a lot of people in the base weren't happy with that, but
what they got for that. I mean, I like everyone. That's a problem, bro.
There's nothing wrong with kissing people out for dinner.
I took Randy out for dinner and drinks.
Hey, well, what does that mean? Shit.
Well, actually, no. You both are Negronis.
Joy, get up here.
And poor, you made Rick get a Negroni too, and he hated it.
Joy, get up here.
Yeah, but Negronis taste like
I
shit.
drank it out of ritual.
That is true.
Yeah,
Definitely needed.
I think at that point, I don't feel sorry for you. I'm sorry. I'm not even sorry you're going to probably end up being deported. You should apply. I have to follow the same rules if I went to Mexico. I have to comport with their laws, or Honduras, or Costa Rica, Haiti, any one of those. You feel entitled that you don't have to comport with U.S. American laws. And I'm sorry, I don't have any semblance of empathy for that.
The problem is, Brad, you can't come into the country and then apply. I mean, if you come into the country and apply, you get deported. So I mean, it don't work that way. They can't come here and live, then apply, and sit here. They would have to leave the country and wait. And that's kind of part of the problem that's not addressed is that the legal immigration needs to be fixed. It needs to be more streamlined and more productive, so people don't have to wait 5-10 years and pay $10,000 to $20,000, $50,000 to get into the country. So that's a part that really need to be fixed, and that'll help illegal immigration right there if they fix legal immigration.
The problem, though, is the Biden administration created this problem, and you guys you don't really want to admit it, that he allowed too many people to come in where we don't even know exactly who's even in the country. So often when I hear you guys, you talk about immigration from a 1994 perspective. You go with the extremes. Well, who's going to pick the fruit, and who's going to do so-and-so, who's going to do this, and who's going to do all these dirty jobs, where you have a ton of people in the country that are actually on welfare. So how can you have an open border and have welfare at the same time? That doesn't make sense.
Let's go ahead, my man.
You can't have both. Yeah, you can't have both.
I think what you said was kind of off. I lost my train of thought. No, he said, hold on, it's my fault, Brad. He said they don't know where they at. They definitely know where they at. They are giving them money. They are living in hotels. Like the people that I'm not agreeing with what Biden did, but you can't say that he don't know where they at. Like those people are the ones who they do know where they at. They are living in hotels in Chicago, New York, and other places. And they are receiving funds, so those people will be easily found and rounded up. They were the ones prior to that, the ones who they don't know where they at.
So Section 245, I had to look it up real quick. I couldn't remember what it was, but yes, illegal immigrants, they can apply for citizenship. They can apply for protected status while they're in the country. There's a few requirements. One is good moral character. They can, and many do apply through this process. They actually they can apply for apparently even after they've crossed the border illegally, they can apply for some sort of amnesty ruling. They can actually go and become naturalized. They can, do a whole host of things that go through. But Section 245 can apply for status. All they have to do is pay the penalty. There is a financial cost to it, but you enter the country illegally, you're going to have to pay a fine. That's part of our laws. If I go speeding, I get a ticket, I have to pay a fine. Doesn't stop me from speeding, but I got to pay a fine. I got to be aware of what I'm doing. I don't have empathy for immigrants who just decide not to go through the port of entry or follow the due process of the laws. I get it. I know everybody's a bleeding heart. I think the estimated is 12 to 30 million immigrants who have crossed the border over whatever time period they're citing right now. And it's not just during Joe Biden's administration, but that are currently in the United States. I'm sorry. Like, I apologize, and anybody in the audience who may have family or know somebody that's impacted, sorry to you, but you've had time. You had it under Joe Biden's administration to literally apply for absolutely anything you wanted. You did it, and if you're not under those protected statuses, Trump can't come in and just take you out if you have, if you follow the law and you're here. He's not going to just round up everybody. It's those that are not comport with the laws of the land. You're now facing possible removal, and I'm okay with that. You decided to come here. You decided not to follow our laws. That's the price you pay. Like, if I don't follow the laws, I can go to jail, I get fined. It's that simple.
That grows here.
I really push back on your belief that you don't. You say you don't mind deporting them, but like Notori said, he's not talking about.
But some people are just weird because they're like
Joey, get up here, Joey.
really fucking weird. Like Edmund. Edmund's insane.
Edmund,
Like, who the fuck has 46 phones? Who
Edmund's
the fuck has
insane.
46 phones?
His 26 phones being
You think
filmed
he's
all
on
at
YouTube
once.
right now?
Huh?
You think he's on YouTube right now?
Without
Of
a doubt.
course, 100%.
Maybe I should consider MSTR. And he said, all right, and it worked out. I think that's one of his best ones.
If one thing I know, I fall but I grow. I'm walking down this road of mine, this road that I'll go home. So am I wrong? For thinking that we could be something. If one thing I know, I fall but I grow.
E da Zeo, que ela joga na hora, pra trás ela joga o cu, pra frente joga xoxo. Frente joga xoxo, frente joga xoxo, frente joga xoxo. Hoje nós te arrasta e te come. E amanhã vai te esquecer. Nós tá com o pau e tchau. Nós tá com o pau e tchau, bebê. Nós tá com o pau e tchau. Nós tá com o pau e tchau, bebê. Nós tá com o pau e tchau. Nós tá com o pau e tchau, bebê. Nós tá com o pau e tchau. Nós tá com o pau e tchau, bebê. Nós tá com o pau e tchau. Nós tá com o pau e tchau, bebê.
E aí, DJ Guida? E aí, DJ Guida Z.O. Tá vagabundo, velho?
E da Zerro, que elas.
Hey, I think you have something on your tongue. Show it to me. I can't possibly look that fast. You gotta keep your mouth open. Stop, I'm being serious. This could be dangerous.
See it?
No.
This is my kingdom come. Pero no, de su mala vibra a mí me protegió. Y por más que me dieron el pie.
Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to become a big.
Calmado, primo, dale calmado. Oh, damn.
This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before.
Do you believe that the Lord tonight?
I really hate the truck, but I gotta know. If one thing I know, I fall, but I grow. I'm what.
Who runs that shit?
I'm not sure. I think one of his sons maybe is in charge of his enterprise.
Apply it further, right? That's one thing. And I think, as for what Trump will do, I think it's pretty clear that his primary focus is on the ones that have committed a crime past crossing the border illegally, right? That's why he talks about, the murderers, the rapists, and, all the ones that are committing very heinous crimes, right? The first start would be with the illegal criminal migrants first, right? And then I think, look, if you get caught in the crosshairs of that, let's say you've been here for a couple years, a decade.
That's how the crackheads start getting mad when they don't get the extra hit. You know what I'm saying? He been blowing up my phone since last night. I had to block the nigga.
What's your problem?
I'll be back up.
I had to block the motherfucking monster. You know what I'm saying?
What was your charge? What was your charge?
Something like crack or some dope. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, boo.
What up, Monster?
It was Chop on that shit. Charles, it was
Talk to me about ball. I don't know what the fuck this nigga talking about. He talking about some balls.
Fuck, you ain't got nothing for no child
He's
shit.
talking about some balls shit. I ain't gonna lie. He want some balls.
Fuck, you ain't got nothing for no kids.
I ain't gonna lie. Talk about some balls shit like that. I talking about some balls.
Nah, you can talk about a lot, everything. You get locked up for no kids shit.
You know.
The problem I have with it is that it's not solving the problem. It's like I hate immigrants and I'm gonna kick them out. I don't care what it does to the economy. It's like cutting off your nose to spite your face. How about like a sensible way to deal with it, opposed to talking about building internment camps, putting people in there and spending trillions of dollars to deport just everyone. And it's gonna hurt the economy with the money you spend with the deportation and the actual loss of the people working in these jobs. So like, it's not solving the problem. Now, of course, you're getting rid of illegal immigrants. But it did not help America when you did it, is what the end result going to be, in my opinion. So, like, it's just like he's not wrong for enforcing the law, but it's just not helpful when he's talking about the economy is this bad and we paying this much for our goods. Those prices are going to go up. So it's kind of weird that you talk about the economy, but now you're going to wreck the economy.
I don't think deporting people is going to wreck the economy. I think that's a lot of fear mongering. I don't see absolutely any evidence of that occurring. What I see is, there's going to be migrant farmers. In fact, they probably would make more money now that they don't have to compete with, some subset that's just running through the fences and being allowed to without being deported. But I even doubt that. I just don't have the idea that somehow or another, just because the cost of food is really going to dramatically increase. Cost of food's already fucking high. And you have all these immigrants here. So why is the cost of food going up despite the import of all these illegals, all these other immigrants, the massive problem at the border, the massive flood, the record numbers? Why isn't food cheaper? Like, if this was the cause of what's going to happen, why isn't food cheaper? Because we just allowed all these people in. So it should be cheaper, right?
No, they're not making the food cheap, but without them, the prices are going to go up. Like, I'm not saying that they're making it cheap. They are over years been allowing it to be cheap, but that's not. They're not the cause of why food prices went up. That's a whole other economic spending issue of the food prices. But without them, the food prices are already up, and then you move all these workers and replace them with higher paid workers, just naturally prices are going to have to go up higher. So I don't get why somebody want to do that when they ran on helping the economy. Like I said, it's not fear mongering. Let you call it Elon Musk a fear mongering, and he says it's going to collapse the economy. A day before the election, he said it. So, and no one pushed back, and no one cleaned it up.
I didn't say Elon Musk was right, though.
I'm just saying, I'm not the only one that believes this. I mean, someone in this administration, behind this administration, believes the same thing.
If you're a worker, I don't see, it's a multifaceted kind of issue, right? Because it's like, on one hand, it's like, oh no, we're forcing companies to have to, not pay shit wages to their workers. And now they'll have to, there'll be more higher paid workers. And it's like, well, if you're a worker, hell, deport them all, right? It's sort of, I think that's one of the reasons why wage growth actually is so low. Because it's like, if there's someone always willing to work for much less, then,
I have no friends.
then you don't really have to pay a higher wage.
What
so
am I?
Part of illegal immigration, that's the issue, is that it undercuts the wages of American citizens, of people that are here illegally. Right, so that's one thing. So
I have no friends. What am I? A rep? I
which sort of is literally saying to undercut the wages of workers who would demand higher wages. So there's that. And the last thing I'll say is that it's not like if we're just, deport the illegal immigrants, we're just going to be up in arms and no one's going to go out and pick strawberries anymore, right? So I think it's this idea that if they're gone, then we're just screwed and no one's going to pick the strawberries or the apples or the oranges. It's sort of like that assumes that we're just going to like deport them all, and then no American here or no legal immigrant is going to take those jobs. And it's like also we can also probably expedite illegal immigrants in this country. Right? The point isn't to get rid of immigrants. It's just, look, if you're going to come into this country, you've got to do it legally. So we can literally have the same amount of immigrants, but just have them be legal. So I think that would sort of address the idea that if we don't have them, we're just screwed economically, as if they're not.
Please don't scroll.
As if we can't replace them.
Please don't scroll. Record low unemployment. Like, literally everybody I know that want a job have one. I know people without a job, but they act like they don't want one. And just because these jobs open up, they're not going to flood to the jobs. So, like, exactly, who's going to fill these jobs when you are already at record low unemployment? When you got places like Amazon hiring thousands of people, they paying $23 an hour, McDonald's paying $17 an hour. Who's going to go work in those fields? Like, where are these people going to come from? Like, most people have a job that want one. So, like, I'm like kind of confused. Like, who will work there? Like, I don't see the numbers.
So I will say, careful on that record unemployment number. It's up there with the same thing for the jobs creation number. It seems to be a manipulated one. I'm not saying it's going to be right. I'm not saying it isn't right. I'm saying that I don't necessarily believe the numbers. I do know that the labor participation rate is something that you should keep an eye on in terms of the overall market. And I would say also look at the number of people that are currently working 2 or 3 jobs, as well as pay attention to credit loans, credit cards, buy now, pay here, pay later kind of shit. That stuff is something that you're going to see more of. And I'm telling you right now, the unemployment numbers don't add up for me. They haven't for 4 fucking years. They haven't since COVID. It just, the higher increase in the labor participation rate, which we know has been manipulated by the Biden administration. And that's not even cap. Like, we're well aware that they did that shit. So my issue is that I'm sitting here wondering what the economy's like, because with the cost of going up, you can't have all these people suffering. Like, literally, they say the economy is not working for them in some facet. If you're saying that they have record low unemployment, well, then they're not making shit. And if they're not making shit, then it's not a great recovery for an economic opportunity, or the jobs are just paying shit. You're saying every employer is just well below, or inflation is too much to handle for the government, even though the government, the reason why we have fucking inflation. So, a lot of the messaging doesn't seem to work or correlate to what I see on the ground, and particularly what I saw in the results, and what I see in numbers right now, because what you have is a lot of companies saying, no, they're coming out of the leaks are starting to happen, the cracks in the dam are breaking. So now you have people like, what is this, Joel something or other. He came out on one of the independent rooms saying, yeah, the economic numbers aren't spot on for the labor rates. It's all over the place. We, selectively chose. It's the same thing with the crime stat. Yes, crimes exploded in parts of the area. They've been ignored because the crime stats that everybody's using and we keep regurgitating, we're leaving off like New York City, Chicago, and certain other parts. We're not adding those numbers in. So, okay, well, if you're going to manipulate numbers, well, now all of a sudden, nothing really adds up. And I don't have faith in anybody on either side of the aisle actually giving us real numbers. But I can tell you how it feels and looks in the heartland. I know people on the East Coast and the West Coast who say they're seeing the same thing. And they're not seeing, like, great gaps in unemployment. What I see is bankers working at coffee shops trying to make ends meet to keep their mortgage. That's what I see. I see college professors who, I don't give a fuck about them, but nurses trying to figure out how to earn extra money to feed their kids. So I don't know where these great jobs are, and I do know that there is a lot of people who've just basically given up on the labor market and are doing whatever all is out there. They're doing something. I just don't know what it is.
Are you saying? I just came in. I don't know what you've been talking about, but are you saying that we need low-paid illegals or immigrants to do our farm work and work that we won't do, that Americans won't do? Is that what people have been saying?
I kind of say that, like, they are doing those jobs, and I say that if you disrupt those jobs, all of a sudden it's going to have a negative effect on the economy. I'm not saying that we necessarily need them, but we need them right now because that's what we have. But,
well, we've only gotten this huge number of them in the last couple of years. Has our economy already started depending on them?
No, I disagree with that. I mean, like prior to Biden or prior to Trump, the number was over 12 million. Prior to yeah. And
well, what's been in the last couple of years?
I think it's up to about 20 or so, maybe like 8 million or so more. But
yeah. So we started relying on those 8 million already.
No, but those not the ones that you talking about getting like those not the ones that's gonna affect it. The ones it's the ones prior. He's talking about getting rid of those too. He's not just talking about getting rid of these new ones. He's talking about getting rid of all of them.
I think he would focus on the most recent ones.
No, that's not what he said he's gonna start with the ones that have criminal records. So that's across the board. That's mainly all the old ones. The newer ones aren't the ones with the criminal record at this point. Well, it's all the ones. It's all the. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kay.
Well. For one thing, do they know the criminal records of the most recent ones from their home countries? Are they able to find out, how many of them have come across with criminal records already? I would think this would be the first.
He literally said what his first is going to be. It's the ones who have criminal records since they've been in America are the ones he's going after first, and those are the ones that've been here for a long time, not the ones who just got here under Biden.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, it's not going to help the economy. I say you should find a better way. I mean, the criminals, I'm okay with that, but I'm saying, he's talking about going far past that. Even like DACA recipients, like a mother and a father, where the father is illegal, the mother not. Literally, the Homeland Security guy said that they're like, "Are you going to break up families?" He said, "This is what he said. I'm not going to break up families. We're going to deport the person that need to be deported." And it's up to them if they want to break up their family. If they don't want to break up their family, they're going to have to leave with that person. That's what was literally said. So, yes, I have a problem with some man who's been living in this country, working, paying taxes, and having broken the law and have a problem with him being deported.
Yeah, I think his focus would be on the ones who just came in and had a baby. Well, they can certainly leave with the baby who's now a citizen.
You're saying things what you want to be, but not saying. I'm repeating what he said he wants to be. You're saying what would be best, but I'm saying actually what he said what he's gonna do.
Yeah, I think you're assuming, from that, I can't believe that they wouldn't just focus on the most recent ones first. That's the problem.
That's literally not what he said, though. He literally said he's going after the. Literally said day one he's going after the one with convicted with records. Then he's going to go from there. So that's like an estimated 1.3 million people initially, and they upwards to if you go by Van's numbers, he said 25 million people. So,
1.3 million have criminal records in this country.
That's what he said, and it's going to cost.
We need to get rid of them.
You know how much it's going to cost to get rid of them? I agree, but I'm saying, that's my point. we're in bad times. Everyone complained about the cost of things, inflation, things like that. To deport 1.3 million people is going to cost $1 trillion. $1 trillion.
Well, that's what people are saying. Maybe they could figure out some more brilliant way to do it, like threaten them with tax. Threaten them with fines, big fines or something.
Violate the Constitution, and it'll be
Well,
cheaper.
could they threaten them with big fines, and they'd have to go home because they can't pay the fines, or go back to prison or something? I think there's more creative ways to influence them to leave.
Go back to prison. I mean, if they haven't been in prison, how do you take someone back to prison? You can't. I mean, that doesn't make sense.
Oh, well, I didn't say prison. I said fines.
Well, fines. They don't have money for fines. I mean, if you're here if you're here illegally, fines aren't going to make a difference for you, right? You're not here legally, so they don't care about fine.
Well, I think they could figure something out. We're sitting here trying to putting a number on what it'll cost. I think those numbers are just they're made up. I've known illegals. I was in Mexico in 2019 for my son's wedding. He got married in Mexico. His wife is the daughter of immigrants, and I was at a festival. I stayed there a while. I was at a festival and met a fellow, and he had been in America for a while, but he had been deported. And I said, oh, too bad. I mean, these guys go back and forth all the time. I mean, you can put pressure on them to leave, I would think.
I mean, what you going to pressure them with? Deportation? That's where it started.
I don't know. What pressure this guy to leave? What pressure him to leave?
You're going to put a fine on them. If they don't pay it, you're going to deport them.
Well,
that's
maybe fine the employers. Make it so they can't work.
Oh, I would love that. I would support that. But I guarantee, because since Trump has hired illegals himself, I don't see him doing that. I would definitely want them to find the employers. I would love to see. It won't happen though.
Well, maybe it will. Maybe it will. You know.
Maybe we'll get those like Elon Tesla AI robot slaves to replace the low-wage, low-skill illegal immigrants.
And maybe they'll start blowing up like his Teslas are right now, his Cybertrucks or whatever they are. Have your server blow up in front of you.
It is interesting, though, that a lot of Americans have an issue when they see the growth of wages, right? And I think, well, maybe I'm wrong about some Americans, but I think there are a handful of Americans who are like, look, yeah, I'll pay more for strawberries if wages go higher and keep growing, right? And I think that's relatively a good thing, right? And I think that's really what would happen. Not that it would be hard to find someone to do it. It's just you'd have to pay them to make it worth it. And it's like, oh no, now Americans have some leverage when it comes to wages, and I think that could be a good idea, right? There's a running joke when it comes to people that are against the wall, which is like, or actually no, there's a joke in where I ask some black people, like, for how much would you pick cotton for, right? They'll say, would you do it for $100 an hour? What about $300 an hour, right? What if you get, things like that? And it's like, look, it's meant to be funny, but the idea is sort of like when the wage is high enough, okay, the thing that you thought was reprehensible that you would never do starts to become, a maybe at some point.
I I don't think people think that those jobs are reprehensible, but historically they just have been low wage jobs, like $2-3 an hour. Like there's no one will work. I mean, it ain't necessarily that job. It was the wage, and it's the wage because Americans didn't want to pay more for products, so they had illegal immigrants working for low wage. You have farmers who they can't do the work themselves because there's too much work to do, and they can't afford to pay anyone $15-20 an hour to do it. It's just not economically feasible to do it. And we done seen that Americans not willing to pay more because wages have been going up along with the food prices, and people still complain. So it ain't just because I'm got more wages, I'm willing to pay more, because we are looking at that right now, and people are not okay with paying more.
That's a good point. On the bright side, what actually helps with this is the fact that it just won't be possible to deport all of them in a 4-year time frame. And in fact, at the moment, if everything is this, remains the same, right? It's like we might be able to get up to 1 million, be able to report 1 million illegals in a year, but that's like really pushing it, barring sort of, some amendment or some constitutional changes, things like that. So it's like, look, if we had deported all 20 million in 4 years, I could see, the economic argument would actually be more viable, but it's like, the reality is that it would probably take us 15 to 20 years of no illegal immigration at all in order to deport all the illegals. So,
I agree.
That, you're sort of forced to do it slowly, so it won't really wreck the economy as much as we think it will.
But I agree that that's the scary part. I mean, I think it'll wreck the economy because they won't be deported, but they will be rounded up into internment camps, and that's the evil part of it. You know what I'm saying? Where you're rounding these people up, and that's where the cost is going to go up in housing these people while they're waiting to be deported. You know what I'm saying? Living in inhumane situations. So that's the part you're not thinking about. They're not necessarily going to be able to get them all through court and process out the country, but they can round up millions and put them into internment camps and hold them there 5 years, 10 years, or whatever they might, or however long they are able to survive in those conditions.
Why would it be so hard if they got them in a camp to then just put them on buses and send them back, or plane tickets and stuff?
Because they one of the problems is nowhere to send them. It kind of happened. That's kind of what happened with the Jewish people, where it was rounded up and they were supposed to be deported, and a lot of places didn't take those people. But then it turned to a mass genocide because they wouldn't take those people. So I mean, I don't want a repeat of that on anyone.
So you're really saying that our economy depends on illegal, low-paid workers, non-union, no benefits. That's what our economy depends on.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty awful.
Yeah, I think if our economy depends on that, then this is the right thing that we need to do. We need to stop depending on illegal immigrants for labor, and if there's economic consequences for that, it's like, look, there were economic consequences for abolishing slavery. It was still the right thing to do. So we're Americans; we could figure it out.
I'm with you on that, but it's just the problem I would have with that. I won't push back, but you should run on that and say that. Don't run on I'm going to lower your food prices when I'm knowing damn well I'm not. I'm going to raise them. You know what I'm saying? So it's just say that part.
No, I agree. I wish Trump was more articulate. Right? I sometimes even wish I could, be a speechwriter for the Trump campaign. I think I would do a wondrous job, and I'll do it for the people.
you're saying the countries that these people came from won't accept them back in?
I mean, some of them can't go back because they left because they were in danger, right? So how can you send someone back who's in danger?
Well, I don't think those guys will go back. They could adjudicate that, but I think a small percentage of the ones who claim that really are in danger. They're economic migrants that were taking advantage of the ability to claim that and then stay here for years until they have their court date.
Like this not a new thing that countries don't accept people back. I mean, it happened under Obama and even under Trump, where they were deporting people and they ended up having to send them to a third country, which was Guatemala, not their home country, but Guatemala was taking people that were rejected. So like, this is not something new. It happens for various reasons why they can't go back. So they would be sitting, waiting in internment camps while they try to find somewhere for them to go.
Especially if they were criminals when they left, if they were criminals in those countries.
Some people been gone so long, 20, 30 years, and there's no record of what country. There's no record of where they came from.
That's not the focus of this. The focus of this is to stop the flood that came in and to send those guys back. You want to say they're going to go back 20 years. That's not the focus.
He said, I'm sorry, Michaela, but that is the focus. He's talking about everyone.
Because he used broad language. He didn't narrow it down.
He literally said everyone. They literally put a number, 25 million. So, like, you tell me what 25 million if he's not talking about everyone.
Yeah. But they'll never get to those ones who've been here 20 years if they put it in order of the most recently arrived. They'll never get to those guys.
That's not the order he put it in. He's not even starting the most recently arrived. He started at the ones that have felonies or have a record. And they say the 1.3 million. That's what he started with.
Yeah. So a lot of those that won't be able to go back because maybe they already are criminals in their own country or something, or what do you say? A lot of those 1.3 million can't go home?
I don't have an answer to that. I mean, I don't like as far as who can go where. I do not claim to have an answer to that question.
Do you think it's right that they could just come in here and then put us under this big problem of how to get rid of them? I mean, why have we allowed that?
It's been happening forever. I mean, it's not a new thing. It was a large amount that came recently.
That's right. It was large.
But it's been millions here prior to that, and it's actually it is a net positive on the country. Like to have them here is a net positive.
Right.
On the economy.
Cesar Chavez was against illegal immigration. He was forming a union. And getting them permits to go back and forth to work the farms, I don't know what happened to all that.
If he worked a way to get rid of the criminals, I wouldn't bat an eye. Go for it. But when he was talking about this everyone, I just don't think that's a good idea. I mean, he should mind. Maybe Trump will change his mind. That'd be a first. Yeah. I'm not gonna hold my breath.
Why not?
Because I don't want to die. I don't want to die holding my breath.
Okay. All right.
Now, what I'm curious about is, will they do anything with amnesty? The reason why I mentioned that is that, one, they kind of already made the big promise of pretty much trying to deport as many as physically possible, right? Which sort of, if you were to go back and then say, okay, some of them amnesty, some people might think of walking that back. Some might think, okay, they realized it was harder than they thought and there was more complexity to it. But I think amnesty is an interesting question because it's like, look, the criminal migrants that are committing crimes, absolutely, they've got to go. if you got a felony and you came here illegally, you've got to go, right? But I could sort of, and maybe this is because I used to be a liberal a couple of years back, but I could see you've got someone who's here legally, right? But they've been working here for 20 years, 10 years, or whatever. They pass a criminal background check. They pay a massive fine for being here illegally. They know English, and you sort of expedite them towards citizenship. I think that wouldn't be such a bad idea, because at that point it's like, okay, you find that they're pretty much a net benefit. They've got a job. They've been employed for a while. They're not committing crimes or things like that. And I think that, and let's throw in maybe they're even a decent person, right? It's sort of like, okay, now you've identified someone that is clearly a benefit to the country, way more than somebody that is committing crimes here. So I could see a way of having amnesty for those people. Maybe you pick a number, like that have been here for at least, whatever the metrics would be, right? I think that would be a terrible idea. Actually, a worse idea than that would be giving amnesty to all of them, but having something where it's like the three-fifths compromise for illegal immigrants for like 20 to 30 years, which is interesting to say the least. But what do you guys think about amnesty?
I would be okay with it, but I don't think it's realistic under what's about to happen under his mandate.
MGK or does anybody remember the movie A Clockwork Orange? Because there's this violent criminal, and what they do is they inject him with a drug that makes him nauseous, and then they put him in a straitjacket and force him to watch violent scenes. So they condition him to react with nausea and become incapacitated if he attempts to be violent at all. So I would just add MGK add to that the people that they give amnesty to go through the same conditioning, but they have to watch scenes of Kamala Harris. So anytime they see a liberal, they become instantly nauseous and incapacitated. And then I think at that point, they would be allowed to stay in the country. Thank you.
That was probably the most beautiful proposal I've ever heard in my life. I'm on board. Where do I sign up?
That's exactly what happens to me when I see Trump talk. I get instantly nauseous. Pavlov's dog syndrome.
Me too. And they didn't have to straitjacket me or anything. He did it all by himself.
Well, see, the straitjacket, it was so that if you, I don't know if you've seen the movie, so he couldn't move or escape. And then it's interesting because they use these little clips to keep his eyelids open too. And then there's a guy putting eye drops in his eye so his eyes don't become scratchy and they stay watered. So it's really bizarre, but there's no way he can look away from the violence he's seeing. So, I mean, it's a brilliant movie. So. But yes, Hope, think of Trump like a fine wine. He's an acquired taste, or like caviar.
I don't know. I live in New York. I love great wine. Cheval Blanc is my favorite. I like caviar, and I can't with Trump. I mean, have him do what he wants to do. I just don't want to hear him speak.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm from Massachusetts originally, so I get it.
But give me all the caviar and great red wine you want, because I'll take that and I'll enjoy it.
So Akima, I remember you used to be a fan of RFK, and I see the picture in your PTR. I'm curious, what did you think about that?
That shit is hilarious. But he also came out with a statement the next day and said Trump has the most unhealthy food on his airplane. But so I don't think he actually ate that. But I would bet that he didn't eat it. But it just shows that how they all like lapdogs to Trump. Like he would even pose with McDonald's. And like Trump want everybody to follow him, and that's just bad though. Like why do you want me to appear to look like I eat McDonald's? That shit is just fucking weird.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty. It made me laugh quite a bit, just because you could see the look on his face, and it's pretty much tells you everything you need to know. He's like, really, this is what you guys are eating, right? And it does look like he kind of was just like I guess I'll take a picture of you guys with this food. But it was funny. Even Don Jr. he posted he on the same night of that photo he posted "Make America Healthy Again starts tomorrow." Pretty funny, but
At least the Speaker of the House, at least the Speaker, he was smart enough to stand back there. He didn't have nothing in his hand. I think Wild RFK ought to did that too, but yeah.
The interesting thing about it is, and at the moment, I'm sort of unsure if this is like RFK's way of like sort of minimizing the resistance with Trump, but sort of his I'm not sure if he believed this the whole time. I'd have to do more research, but sort of the stance is sort of because he mentions he doesn't eat fast food like that at all, really, right? But when he talks about McDonald's now, he sort of talks about like you cooking the French fries with tallow and things like that, almost in the way of making fast food healthier, which would be interesting. But yeah, the way his stance on McDonald's is kind of it's interesting in his nuance, because with his current stances on food, you would think he would be opposed to it and things like that in really dramatic ways. But it seems like no, he just wants the look. Still don't eat McDonald's, right? But if fast food could be healthier, I guess I could get behind that. Even though I hadn't had McDonald's in years at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
So I just thought it was interesting how he's making the combining what he believes about food and sort of joining the Trump cabinet as well.
That doesn't mean he's full of shit, because you can't make McDonald's healthy. I don't care what you do to it.
Actually, well, what I think happened probably is Trump said, hey, come on, let's take this picture. And they all sit down, and suddenly there's a thing of McDonald's there, and they're all like, okay, and they don't want to create a scene, so they're kind of stuck. But I remember, 30 years ago, this one particular high school did exactly what you said, MGK. They said, okay, since our kids are reading this stuff, let's at least make it better. So they had whole wheat buns. They cooked the fries in a different way with, different kind of oil, less fat, whatever, on and on and on, things like that. So they turned what appeared to be fast food into a better option. But the debate back then, which I think is still true, that, okay, you give these kids this food and it's healthy for them, but then they're still going to, they're going to turn around and go to McDonald's and still eat the same junk when they graduate high school. So it's not creating healthy diet choices that will lead them into their adulthood. There, I sounded like a dietitian. So, yeah, it's
and in a way, I think it's kind of it's really the only sensible approach, because it's like, you can't really go the route of, all right, let's ban all fast food. So really the only option is to have a stance where you're like, look, let's get the most unhealthiest chemicals, let's absolutely get those out of the food. And maybe use ingredients that are, I wouldn't even say healthier, I would say less bad for you. And still, at that point, it's sort of what it is now, which is, you know, not that great to eat, but look, you've got a freedom to go eat it if you want to. But I think the least that we can do is sort of have a stance where it's, you know, anything that's, I don't know what the metric would be of absolute, you know, the most unhealthiest chemical that's in McDonald's. I just assume it's all garbage. But I think that's just the most sensible approach.
It's gonna be fascinating to sit back and watch Republicans enact regulations on food. The Republican regulations on food. That's gonna be fucking fascinating to watch. Big government in food.
I don't see any problem with it at all, Hakeem. None whatsoever. You mean you're saying the people who advocate for smaller government will vote in laws that somehow reflect a larger government? I just don't see it. No hypocrisy there. So, you know, hey, non-issue.
And I would say for Republicans, the big issue isn't regulations, but it's unnecessary regulations that really don't have a net benefit.
Well, I think the funnier part of that, Hakima, will be that if they do, like with fast food directly or something like that, where they regulated, you know, let's say they banned certain kind of cooking oils for French fries in fast food. The way the Democrats would twist themselves in knots, because it would actually be from a diet point of view or a health point of view, it would be a sensible regulation. So the Democrats are going to be like, oh, you know, exactly like you said, they're going to be like, oh my God, the Republicans say they're anti-big government, but and here they are doing the thing they say they don't want to do, yet the actual policy would be beneficial. So how they would play that, I don't know. That would be fun to see too.
The smart way to play it is just to be quiet, vote against it, and just shut the fuck up, and then see how far they go with it and use against them in the future. I wouldn't go against it while it's happening, especially if I didn't have the votes to stop it. I'll just be quiet and let it happen.
Yeah, but when has a Democrat ever shut his mouth? You know, but yeah, I mean that would be the best thing, you know. So.
But that was as a Democrat. Or me personally, I would vote for it. You know, I'm all for. Like I'm not a regulation person, but we talk about getting food healthier or American healthy. I'm 100% behind that. I think they should ban fast food. I say ban it. Ban alcohol. Ban cigarettes. I say ban all of it. I mean, all the extra ingredients inside of food, all the fucking pesticides and Monsanto putting aside seeds. I mean, I'm talking about going that far. So banning vaccines. I'm RFK. I'm further left than RFK on that. So yeah.
Well, and yeah, I mean that's. You know, I mean, I don't know if people remember the whole pink slime controversy with McDonald's or have seen, like, if you've seen what was it, Super Size It or Super Size Me, the movie. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, by the end of the movie, the doctor's saying, look, you gotta stop. You're killing yourself.
He actually just died. So you know, he just had cancer a few months ago.
Oh my gosh. Well, there you go. Yeah. Oh, jeez. How old was he? Do you know? Oh.
I think he was in his either late 40s or early 50s. I know his wife.
Oh my God, that's
Gotcha.
awful. What I mean, was it? Are they attributing it to that whole episode, or?
No, I mean, you don't know, because you don't know what brings about cancer, right? But he died of cancer. So.
Yeah. That's too bad. Yeah. Was his wife I think it was the girlfriend at the time in the movie, or a different person, or?
I think it was a different person. I don't remember his girlfriend in the movie. They weren't married that long, so I think it was someone else.
Yeah. Just curious. Yeah. Because it was, I think it was in the movie. The girlfriend said, "That's it. If you don't stop now, I'm going to break up with you." I mean, she blackmailed him, and rightly so.
Yeah, no, his wife said that he married. They just got separated when he died, though. Worked for HBO documentary, so I think that's how they met when the documentary was picked up.
Oh, there you go.
But I definitely think what you put in your body does make a difference in obviously your health.
You think there'll be subsidies for organic agriculture coming out of the new administration? Or for teaching it? I mean, that's the root of a lot of this stuff.
I mean, I don't think Trump and his government want to spend more money, so I don't think so.
I think they want to shift money around, don't you think?
Like he talking about cutting $2 trillion a year. He's going through budget cutting all kind of what he determined as useless spending. So
you don't think they'll want any more spending in different areas? Just cut. I don't think that's true. You can cut a lot out of the bad stuff and put some into the good stuff.
Yeah,
they gonna have their hands full with the $1 trillion a year with deportation. So I don't know.
Yeah, and look at what Trump likes to eat. Trump is not going to advocate and give money to anything that's going to take away from what he can eat. Trump hasn't had a healthy meal ever.
Yeah, he's got Kennedy there, though. Kennedy's going to be in charge of that stuff.
Yeah, but Kennedy hasn't listened to him.
What? No.
Yeah, no, Kennedy's
he said, did you hear him say, he said, Kennedy, you can do what you want, just leave the gas and oil alone.
But he says that now. Well, when you go and you take away his McDonald's and his fast food and his fried chicken, he's not going to like that.
It's not like he's promoting that. He's making fun of himself,
The problem is, I just looked it up. McDonald's spends $1.9 billion a year just in the U.S. for advertising. Second is Domino's at $774 million. Now, unless the government is willing, or any administration is willing to spend a sizable amount on health education, the next thing I would look up is to see what the Department of Health budget is. That's the problem. You've just got, how many people know about, I think in Supersize It, he talks about Ronald McDonald being recognizable, even to like 3-year-olds in foreign countries. That's how far their reach is. So that's really the obstacle that you're facing if you're trying to make the United States more healthy, is you're just up against these giants in advertising dollars.
But they have McDonald's in all other countries, and I've got to tell you that the quality of the food and the ingredients in the food in McDonald's in other countries is a lot healthier than it is in the States.
So they can do that here.
But they won't.
Why not?
Because
you're just so traumatized
I'm not traumatized. I travel all over the world, Michaela, all the time. I don't eat fast food. I haven't had any fast food since 1989 because I don't like that shit. But
No.
I see what's there, and I see the quality control of the food there. And with RFK, he wants to do away with the quality control of food. So it's not going to get better. It's going to. Yeah, he does.
Oh my God! You're interpreting this backwards. That's what I mean. You're traumatized by the lies.
No, I'm not talking about him not wanting to make food healthy. I'm just saying, like the EPA and all these different sections of the government, he doesn't want to have anything to do with it. So if he changes too much of McDonald's here, the market is going to die, right? Because people aren't going to go to McDonald's anymore.
I think people are admitting that the changes that these guys are promoting can cause a temporary readjusting downturn. I mean, we're going to have to suffer a bit to get out of the bad habits, not just food habits, but I think if there's going to be a big change, we've been doing things a certain way. If we do them a different way, the economic system has been dependent on the old way. So
I mean, look at the old way. Look at in the past, like the cheapest things you could get was going to McDonald's. So people who didn't have money would go to McDonald's to buy their meals from there.
now it's too expensive.
Exactly. Now it's gotten more expensive.
Now they got to cook at home.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, why are we focused? I wonder what percentage of the American diet what percentage is fast food?
I mean, when you look at the obesity rate in this country, which is higher than any other country in the world, I think a big percentage is fast food. Because if you're actually eating at home, you're cooking at home, you're seeing what ingredients you're putting in your food, people would not be so overweight. I mean, people are seriously obese in this country.
Yeah, but they're saying that it's even the raw ingredients that we use that are causing metabolism problems. You know, the kind of flour we use, the kind of, that it's not GMO, but the corn is GMO, and the seed oils and all that. They're saying that those have an effect, and also the ingredients. When you're cooking at home, you're still using, and you can go buy that frozen food stuff in the grocery store. That's cheaper than McDonald's.
Yeah, but the frozen food stuff isn't healthy for you. It has so many chemicals and so much in it to keep the shelf life. But like, I cook at home. I don't go to fast food. I very rarely get takeout because I like to know exactly what's going on in my body.
Me too. But
36.6% of the American diet is fast food.
Okay, wow. Okay, so that's where, if they're going to make some changes, maybe, don't they say the In-N-Out burgers, are they what? I don't know.
I mean, that's their claim, but I've heard that In-N-Out isn't much better. I mean, their fries are better. You see them, they got potatoes and they're sitting there slicing them up.
Taco Bell and Chipotle are probably the best bets in my opinion as far as health and lower toxicity. And
well, Chipotle is owned by McDonald's, right? Chipotle is owned by McDonald's. Yeah.
That's why it tastes so good.
Well, Chipotle is actually probably the lowest toxicity. It's the most healthy, like quasi fast food you could get. And then Taco Bell's probably a close second. Maybe Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A was the better one. Okay, so do they have drive-thrus?
In-N-Out?
Yeah, well, kind of. You have to kind of order ahead, and then you can like drive through and kind of pick it up. So it's not as quick as the other ones. For quick stuff, like Taco Bell is actually kind of underrated. They have a nutritionist in charge of their stuff now. Like they've actually taken a lot of good steps in the right direction.
I'm just thinking of ways that the government can incentivize these fast food places to, like you say, like in Europe, they probably have rules in Europe where they can't have food like we serve at McDonald's here. There's probably some regulations. I would think that...
They do. and my question is like, why do we have all these fillers? Does it make it cheaper to produce? Like, why do we have like the food dyes? It just seems I don't get how. Does it make it cheaper? Like, I'm not understanding the math here.
Oh, the fillers? What are the fillers? What they put in the meat?
Like all of the all of the extra crap that they put in it, like the food dyes and all of these many chemicals. Like, I don't get why would the companies do that to Americans? Like, what's in it for them?
Maybe because it's more addictive that way, and the more addictive it is, the more we'll buy from it.
And Big Pharma loves sick people. What are you talking about?
That's right. So that's exactly what Kennedy is talking about changing. That's exactly what he's talking about changing.
But he's got to go up against Big Pharma. That's why I'm predicting.
Yeah, he's going to.
I'm predicting that he's going to be fired within 6 months.
Well, hope not.
By who? Who's going to fire him?
Trump is going to fire him within 6 months.
Why would he fire him?
Because he's going to be trying to do stuff that this country, that the big money in this country don't want. That's why.
I mean, that's the whole point. That's literally the point of firing him. So he'd be fired for doing his job.
Yeah, because he's gonna have to go up against the Big Pharma lobby and others. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's so much money into sick people, and he's trying to make America healthy, and these companies don't want that. And they have a lot of sway with all the politicians.
So do you think Trump didn't know that when he appointed him? Or nominated him?
I think Trump just was being a stand-up guy and returning a favor. But
no, I don't believe that.
Okay, that's fair. It's fair for you to disagree.
It's sad for you to have such a negative outlook on it.
The beautiful thing about it, we will find out though. So we don't have to argue about our opinions, but we will find out in the not too distant future.
Trump has been concerned about this topic for years as well. It's not like RFK just popped up and this is the first time Trump has ever expressed any concerns about this. He has expressed it. He didn't know how deep it went. I think RFK has opened his eyes up to how massive the problem is, but this isn't like something that he's just like, ooh, this sounds cool, and like, I know the American people think it's cool, so let me just jump on this bandwagon. No, I think Trump actually cares about this topic.
Holly, if he actually cared about the topic, he himself would eat healthy, and he doesn't. So you can't care about something and not eat healthy.
I mean, technically you can.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you can actually. I care about food toxicity and feeding my kids as healthy as I can. That doesn't mean that when I'm out and about, I will stop and get McDonald's on occasion, like Subi.
Yeah, on occasion. On occasion. He eats it every day. Yeah, exactly. He doesn't eat salad. He doesn't eat healthy food. His diet is fast food.
Well, we're all walking contradictions. Like, seriously, it's just a silly thing. He's an older man. Don't expect him to change now. He loves McDonald's. Like, it's okay.
I'm a walking contradiction in one way. I eat completely clean. I run every day, but I smoke cigarettes. And I'll admit that I'm an oxymoron, but I tell myself as long as I can run and the smoking doesn't affect me, then it's fine. But I eat completely clean. No junk food, nothing goes into my system. It's unhealthy besides the cigarettes.
We all do it. We all have our vice.
Yeah, but I admit it. I don't pretend that I don't. What I'm saying is,
he talked about his love of McDonald's all the time.
But no, so my point is, I agree with Hakima. He nominated RFK. RFK is not in yet, right? He has to get confirmed. He did it because he got a lot of votes because of RFK. So he's trying to save face right now, but RFK is not going to be around for long.
He called RFK the night he got shot or the night after he got shot. And they talked.
Yeah, but that phone call is what made me know that he was going to support Trump, and that's when I left. That's when I gave up my support for RFK after that phone call.
Yeah, I have a good friend that was working for RFK, and she left too. She's just a dyed-in-the-wool lefty from her. You know, we're senior citizens, and she's been that way her whole life. You know, so I think that I mean, what you were saying about you smoking cigarettes, I think McDonald's are Trump's cigarettes, you know. He doesn't smoke or drink or, you know.
Yeah, but I'm not like a huge smoker. Maybe I smoke 3 or 4 cigarettes a day, if that, and not even every day. Can go for like weeks and not smoke. I bet you, if you took away his McDonald's for even 3 days, he would become like a woman on major PMS.
Well, you don't know that. Do you think they serve McDonald's at Mar-a-Lago? You think that doesn't make the food they make?
Yes,
there?
I've seen them bringing McDonald's to Trump Tower.
Okay. Well,
I've seen that.
To me, it's sort of a humorous, you know, and then Kennedy eating the McDonald's, it's like he's saying, okay, we're not going to be fascists. We're not going to, outlaw McDonald's. All right? To me, that's what that's saying. You know, don't get real scared that we're going to cut off your McDonald's supply.
Well, I mean, I don't think you can outlaw food. We're not living in prohibition, but... Well,
I know, but a lot of women are so afraid about their birth control pills and stuff that, oh my, you know, I think it's just a message that we're not, you know, cranks. We're not crazy. You know, we're not going to change everything all at once. You know, that's how I see it. But I hope they change things quickly. And I hope it continues on after Trump. I hope he just gets things started, and then I hope it continues on. And I think there's a long bench of people that could follow him. You know? Why would it? Isn't it silly for the Democrats to oppose him, or having RFK in there trying to do stuff? I mean, why not work with him?
Well, I think it depends what he wants.
They're gonna oppose RFK, and the majority of the country gonna get behind it when he gets to talking about the vaccines and things like that. Because
exactly.
He's going to talk about research on the long-term effects of them. That's what he says needs to change.
And that's what's gonna run it. That's what's gonna run him out of office right there.
Can't do the research, huh? Can't rely on science.
Well, they want to take away money out of NIH and research. So how would they do the research if the people that are being put into place?
I don't think they're going to cut everywhere.
But they're saying that, I mean, if you go look at the list of stuff that they said they wanted to cut, part of it is the NIH. The NIH does research.
Oh yeah, but they do a lot of worthless research.
I don't know. I have a lot of people who work in biophysics and at NIH, and they don't do worthless research.
Not all the research. They could say, okay, we don't need to keep on doing research in this area. We could push it to this area. We could prioritize another area.
What do you think they're doing research on, which is wasted research?
I don't know, but not everything that gets a grant is. I mean, they can prioritize. Yeah, it might not be wasted, but it might not be the top priority.
But it's not a top priority until something is a top priority. If there are diseases out there that you're doing research on, you need to continue doing research on it, because even if it saves 10,000 people, it's saving those people, right?
So they are funding all the research that any scientist wants to do. They're already prioritizing.
Well, yeah, so if they cut that, then they're not, right? Like, I think they were talking about cutting AIDS research. Why the hell would you cut AIDS research, right? Granted, it's not as bad as it was in the 80s. People are surviving. But why are they surviving? Because of research.
Well, they're surviving, so why do they, I mean, haven't they sort of solved the problem?
No, because it hasn't been cured. They found. I'm sorry, I'm walking because I'm going to a screening, so I might have noise here. But I mean, they haven't cured the disease yet. So until you can cure the disease, you're still going to continue doing research. You allow people to live longer lives because of the research you've done, but people are still dying of AIDS.
Well, I think that you could. I think that you have too many friends at NIH.
No, I have friends all over. I work in the film industry. My brother is a nuclear physicist. I have friends who are biophysicists who work at NIH. So I have a good like bubble, like huge wide range of people. I don't live in a bubble, and I read and I talk and I do all this stuff. So I'm talking because I know, not because I'm just
So
repeating.
you don't think that we could have some new priority about the health of Americans related to diet, and food production, and all that? That if we had that we can't that we couldn't cut other things that aren't that top priority if we have a limited amount of money?
I think diseases are top priority. I think diet really has to happen within the home. Like you learn diet from your parents. Your parents eat unhealthy their entire lives. You're gonna learn that, right?
Yeah, but it's not just what you eat, it's what's provided to you to eat, how it's produced. It's the food, the agriculture system, the food production system, and all that. And I forgot what I was going to say. Yeah. A lot of these diseases, it's known that a lot of it's related to the immune system being unhealthy because of lifestyle and food factors, etc. So if those are focused on, maybe they don't need to put so much research into these diseases that result from them.
Yeah, but you don't know what resorts from what, right? My mom always ate healthy. She wasn't a real drinker. She had wine here and there. She didn't smoke. She died of pancreatic cancer. It'll be 5 years tomorrow, right? Yeah. So it's not just what you're putting into your body. It's your environment, right? Yeah. It's the pesticides that are in the environment. Like, I live in New York City. I think a lot, I developed some health issues in New York City after 9/11. I lived very close to the World Trade Center. So for like weeks and months after the fact, I could smell the burning rubber and burning flesh in the air. Yeah. So like all this stuff in our environment also causes these health issues that we have. Right. It's not just food. So we need to make sure that people are researching for these diseases.
I agree with that. But I think that there's a lot of I think to shift to the environmental causes and the diet and lifestyle causes, I think that's the way we should shift the money in research. Instead of trying to, cure certain diseases. I mean, not instead of, but just shift it more in that direction. Some people are not going to get grants, but maybe the ultimate result is more beneficial.
But what is the money we would put in research for diet when we should know diet? There's no research, no money needed for that research. We should know that you're eating shit food every single day. You're not going to be healthy. You're going to have high cholesterol. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Yeah, but for instance, they're trying to focus on seed oils. Everybody's using all different kinds of oils, and they're saying seed oils might be a huge thing. Now, have they done the research on that? Do they have it already?
Well, they keep on changing that because for a long time they were saying it was better to cook with grapeseed oil than anything else. Then they were also, like with wine, they were saying red wine is bad for you. Then they did a study that said, actually, red wine is really good for your heart. So all these studies keep on contradicting each other.
So maybe they need to put some more research in that area and come to the conclusion, But
if I could jump in and then I have to go. I mean, I was interested and researched, all of this stuff. Let me think. Put the age 30 years ago, and the American take on health has always been a kind of what's the one miracle cure that will make people happy. So like what you just said, first they said it was red wine. First it was bad, then it was good, and then the seed oils, where they think that'll help, and all of it. And the real trick is it's not just one thing that makes a person healthy and that will make a diet healthy. And it's a more comprehensive approach to health. But in terms, I heard what you were saying, how do you say your name, Michaela?
Right.
we have limited dollars. And I think given the obesity rate in this country, we would solve a lot of health issues if America was thinner, period. That, you know, things like type 2 diabetes, you know, blood pressure, hypertension, heart disease, all of those things really are mitigated when a person is thinner. That's it. I mean, I know for myself, you know, they're always tracking various things, and if my weight goes up, I start seeing, like, I forget if it's A1C or AC1, whatever it is, that starts to creep up too. And they're saying, so, you know, it's weight. And given the limited dollars, I would agree. I would agree with you on that regard. You know, we've only got so many dollars here to spread around.
How many people do you,
how many?
like 15 minutes. What percentage of people in the U.S. actually exercise every single day, or at least 5 days a week? That would make a big, huge difference in people's health, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Anyways, I gotta go. I just, yeah, I have to go now. Anyways, nice.
You know, the HIV part of the conversation is pretty interesting because I believe in 2019, when Trump gave his State of the Union, he said something about ending the HIV epidemic in the United States. Specifically, he said he wanted to aim to reduce new HIV infections by 75% in 5 years and 90% in 10 years. Now, what did end up happening, and they even funded some AIDS and HIV research during that time, but a part where they sort of wanted to cut back on was global AIDS and HIV research, which probably means something like, look, we're going to prioritize AIDS and HIV research here at home, but all the other countries that are depending on us to figure that out problem for them, maybe they'll be a little bit on their own, right? So he wanted to have cuts to that. But domestically, he definitely wanted to, I believe right here it's showing that he proposed a $291 million spending budget specifically for efforts to reduce new infections through improved testing, prevention, and referral to medical care, and things like that. So during his first administration, he sort of did the opposite of throwing HIV and AIDS research under the rug in our country.
I think that's changing now. And when you're talking about global, like a lot of times when you're doing research for a particular medication or something and for a particular disease, you want to do that globally, right? You want to see how this medication affects people all over the world because people's experience in different parts of the world is different. So in order to find a cure, you want to be able to cure everyone and not just one person. Because you cure the Americans, right, who have AIDS, but then someone from another country comes here and has AIDS and it all starts again. Because there isn't going to be a vaccine for AIDS, I don't think.
so you can giggle. At the game, there was this lady when my kids went to Jewish school, and my son was in basketball. And there was this lady who would literally recite Tehillim for the rhythm of the basketball game. Who, by the way, was not a super religious person either, just super competitive.
I'll if we're down, I'll consider whipping out the tail.
God literally has better things to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Something else.
Well, it's
What happens if God exists but he doesn't believe in us?
That he doesn't believe we exist or believe in our goodness?
Correct.
I mean, that's a pretty old standard version of the God created the earth and then just disappeared.
I know, but what do we call it? Like a person who doesn't believe in God is an atheist. What is a God that doesn't believe in humankind?
I think the Greeks had a name for it.
Probably.
God created.
Daniel wants to know what if.
Paid $350,000. Let me tell you something. To get your motherfucking PhD, I think your ass need to be making at least $500,000.
That's a fact.
These motherfuckers have gone to school, have been broke until they were in their fucking 30s, so they can fucking educate your fucking kid. Not only are they educating your.
Yeah, you did. We could totally troll some atheists with that question. Like if we actually thought it through and had a whole we could totally take atheists down a rabbit hole. It might be fun.
Or at least agnostics. You make them agnostic about themselves.
Yeah, probably more agnostics.
Free Palestine, from the river to the sea. Free Palestine.
Oh, that's great.
Will be stopped.
Free parking!
Where's
Free
Palestine?
parking!
Oh, hang on.
Are we talking about Palestine in Texas?
No, we're talking Palestine.
It's actually
a really nice little town.
We're talking about Palestine.
It's Palestine.
Philistine. Free Philistine from the Zionist colonial project of terrorists.
Philistine literally means colonial.
Free the hostages.
Yeah,
there you go.
Free. Everything's free. Or at least
free all the Philistine hostages. Free all the Philistine hostages.
Spit it out.
And we're going to pray for the Israeli hostages because Bibi wants to kill them all. We're going to pray for them. We need them to be out. They were innocent, but Bibi's trying to kill them.
You don't know how to
You're not allowed to talk for this long, are you?
Yeah. You don't know how to pray.
We have to stop Netanyahu. We have to stop Netanyahu from killing the Israeli hostages. He might be trading them off with the rabbis.
Okay, your pedophile prophet didn't teach you properly to pray, so don't bother to pray for.
I don't know.
Keep praying for the terrorists, and Allah will keep giving the Jews victory because He prefers us.
I don't understand, Jeff. I mean, we're just here having a nice, relaxing social thing, and we get this free Palestine. It just reminds me of going into the streets around the world, with all these rallies, free Palestine. Look, in case you didn't get the memo, Israel is freeing Palestine from Hamas, the cancer. We're doing it, and everybody is thanking us, which is amazing. They're saying thank you so much for removing the Islamist garbage from the face of the earth. So we're doing it. You just got to read your memos. That's all.
Billy, can you answer the question? What if God doesn't believe in us?
A humanist.
A humanist? Okay, so God does not believe it. So so an ahuman. What if God doesn't exist and doesn't believe in us? What do you call that?
Then you're just a
What if God doesn't exist, but he does believe in us?
Now I'm confused.
Exactly. Welcome back, Ash.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Ash, PTR, there's baby, right? Like today.
Aww,
Feeling in her
how's
hospital.
she feeling now? Oh my gosh.
She's doing okay. She's watched The Grinch like 4 times today.
Oh, she's so cute.
She's mesmerized
She's so
by
cute.
The Grinch. I think that's hysterical.
I hope she feels better soon. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
My kids were afraid of The Grinch.
She's got good taste. Oh, she's so cute.
I said, even sick, she's cute.
Just so adorable. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
Excuse me, guys.
Just makes me want to
Just,
spit. Yeah, what's up, Simon?
can you check the message, please?
Oh, yeah. I meant to respond to you.
Thank you.
So, Jeff, according to AI, what you're describing is an extreme version of deism called indifferentism.
Nice. That's a thing, huh?
Perplexity? Yes.
Awesome. I'm glad to know I made you curious enough to AI it, Rafa.
Oh, yeah. I was hanging out this weekend with our favorite Las Vegas resident in Vegas.
Which one? I have several that I like out there. Abby?
Yeah.
Football in the sun. That's cool. Was she out in LA?
No, I was in Vegas.
Sweet. Solomon, I responded to you. Just a clown like some of us.
Oh, look, this is a very special occasion. Soren is putting some family photos in the chat. I think that's beautiful. I think he got the idea from Elle. So it's Soren. They're gorgeous. They're really gorgeous. Do you have names for them?
Just a stranger on the bus. It is interesting. Like, we just want to sit here, talk to our friends about nothing much in particular. I guess my title is a little provocative.
Soren doesn't have any friends. I think he thinks that we're his only friends.
I bet you Soren does think we're his friends.
Just like Michael
Soren,
Ponce thinks we're
please,
friends.
I need to correct Soren again. Soren, I'm not a Zionist. I am a very proud Zionist. Like most people who are Zionists, they should be proud of being Zionist. Please don't refer to me as just a Zionist. Thanks.
Is Soren like the Afghani Bronstein?
No, Soren's more socially aware than Bronstein is.
I mean, that's the cockroach is more socially aware.
But he might be the Afghani David B.
How's his drinking game?
I don't know.
I mean, usually Soren does usually sound drunk.
Not really.
Permanent drunk Kermit.
Not really.
How's
Just
it
a
going?
stranger on the bus.
Just updated.
Apparently, that last attack in Iran, like they really actually did a lot of like material damage.
Shut down their nuclear program
Everything I
probably
just
years.
updated and sent you version with my signature.
Yeah. Apparently, the nuke program is going to be a few years behind, delayed, which is tremendous. The hypersonic missiles have a few-year delay, which is tremendous. And nearly all of the anti-aircraft batteries were destroyed. So Iran's just laying naked like a whore passed out on the grass.
And their early warning systems too.
Just in time for Trump to come in and impose sanctions and drive the regime out of business.
And the Ayatollahs dying of cancer or AIDS or whatever Arab had died.
Yeah, but Matt, one night with Soren would pretty much do that, you know.
Hey, Shara, how many Toman does it take to turn on a light bulb?
What?
To turn on a light bulb?
I don't know though.
It doesn't matter because there's no electricity anyway.
Is that the joke?
Yeah.
I don't know how much the money is worth though right now and how much the prices are.
It's worth less. Definitely
Last
less.
time I visited Iran, I think it was it was 2014. I haven't been there in 10 years.
Just a stranger on the bus. Hey, Ash.
Sorry, guys.
Don't let it happen again, Ash.
What's Soren doing here?
Nothing. He's flirting with Rowan mostly.
He's trying to upgrade the class of people he hangs around with.
It is hard, Soren. Rowan's a very good. That's the hair, Soren. That's the hair. Okay. It's also very attractive that he's a Jew with great hair. How can you not?
Oh, he's confused. Karen's not here. That's Hillary.
Karen. I don't know why Soren is still here.
I don't know. I think he's.
You're a moderator.
He's
I mean, I've been.
sort of left.
Alright.
I'm fine with everybody making independent decisions.
Ash, I
so much fun.
He's usually not in here because I'll be honest, I'm the one that has him blocked. I don't feel safe with him in the room. Just like Cheeseburger in Paradise or whatever his name is for today.
Yes.
So I don't allow him in here. There are actually only 3 people that I have blocked, and they're all people that either record or are literally a little too crazy for Clubhouse.
I mean, how crazy is he? You just muted yourself while you were speaking.
Too crazy for Clubhouse. What like Too Crazy for Clubhouse has blown up at least 3 buildings.
I'm with
This is
Ashley.
great.
I don't trust him though.
I don't trust him. No one trusts him.
But I don't trust him more than just a troll. I just don't trust this guy. I don't like him at all. I don't feel safe around him. I really don't.
What's he talking about? Sorry.
Are we talking about Soren?
Yeah.
Soren, yeah.
I'm the one who has.
Well, he has. He is, been doxing people, for real.
Yeah, well, he
Hey,
did
what?
it to Rohan, so that's why
Hey, Majid, I would love for you to. Tell us what's.
$1,000. You are pretty much going to school for free. Could you imagine, like, if you're making $150, you only got one child. I have one baby that's actually, I have two daughters, but I have one that came out my womb. And I could tell you that one that came out my womb, for me, they're not going to give me that 10%. If you make $150 with one child, you only pay 10% of the tuition. So if you look at a school like, I'm going to give you Harvard, you're only paying $5,000 a year. $5,000 a year. $5,000 a year ain't shit, especially when you got FAFSA. You don't even have to apply for fucking Stratford loans or fucking unsubsidized loans. You don't have to apply for that shit. Your FAFSA should be enough. Your grant should be enough if you're making under $150,000. So you guys are not taking into consideration. Y'all are not taking into consideration that these schools have other programs outside of this.
Patty, thank you for putting me on the stage. Hold on, I posted a link in the room chat. You brought me up to the stage, Patty. Why don't you let me speak? I put a link in the room.
Is it just again?
Oh, is this
So,
the link?
okay, we don't need to be aggressive.
Just Mr.
We don't sound like it. I don't want to hear this. Every day. Why do you want to get kicked out?
If you want me to leave, I'm gonna kick you out, man. About to be right, but I don't want to even know it. If you have knowledge that I can benefit from, I don't want to know it because that energy ain't there. I'm sorry.
Is that true? I thought you like
Real quick.
Articulate, y'all, you and him sounded like. That's why you
From here to 2028, I'm getting my
All right, we can just have we can have a conversation without making the weird little ad-libs, guys. Like, seriously, come on.
There are models of what Patty is talking about. There are states that have made community college and state college free by taxing the rich more. I live in one of them.
It's not
there are models that are already there.
It's private schools as well.
No private schools.
Cornell
can
does
afford.
it. Harvard does it. Stanford does it. A lot of these colleges, these private schools
Patty,
are doing it.
Those colleges have endowments.
But why are we talking about colleges that have less than 1%
The only thing that really matters is
of all
money.
college students? Why do we always focus on the 1%?
We're not focusing only on the 1%. We're talking about overall colleges, period. A lot of these schools have adopted. A lot of these. No. I brought that up because he talked about only the public universities. I said not only the public universities are doing it. This is a model that has been adopted by a lot of fucking universities. If you make under $150,000, they're requiring you to pay 10% of what you're paying for tuition. I have two girls that are in college, also an African girl that's been living with me since she was in fucking high school that is going to Howard University. These kids are fucking, that little girl, the little girl that's adopted, the little adopted African girl, she's going to school using the 10%. My daughter doesn't require, she cannot do the 10% because I'm her mother.
Do you think the current offerings are sufficient for most students to have easy access to post high school education? Because I don't. Like, even with the 85, like, I grew up in Fairfield County. My parents in a lot of other regions would be considered wealthy enough to send their kid to college, but in the area I grew up in, the 85 ain't shit. And so it's still true that, like, kids that grow up in predominantly black neighborhoods have to grapple with going to college and incurring debt that they are scared to pay off, or don't go to college and end up falling for whatever YouTube conspiracies exist. I do believe that much of what we see in these clubhouse conversations are largely attributed to the cost of education, and many of the people who have told themselves things like start an LLC, college is a waste of time.
You're just derailing a good conversation. Jesus.
How am I derailing you? Or are you just bullying me again? I was chill.
Oh my God.
I didn't say anything weird. I was not derailing. We were talking about college education.
Hurry up. So why are you talking about people on Clubhouse?
I mean, I know you guys just want to beef with me, but I was just participating in a conversation about college.
Yeah, I gotta agree with him, y'all.
Bloodlust, right? You're the bloodlust, right? Right, Jess?
I agree with Patty.
Go ahead, cook a little bit.
Let me continue, please.
No, what Patty said was right.
May I please continue?
No, you may not, because you interrupted me. So
I didn't interrupt you.
I actually agree with Patty. Here's the problem.
Diet Republicans want to shut up.
Let her fucking finish.
Because y'all a bunch of Republicans. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. You get a first warning and that's it. So I do agree with Patty. Number one, I don't think we want everything overseen by the government and by the state. There are some colleges or some states that do give free tuition, like Georgia, I believe. If you keep a 3.0, your state tuition is free for any.
It's gone under, Miki. It's not funded like it needs to anymore. You're talking about Hope.
So Hope does offer it. Hope offers it. And she said 3.0. Before it used to be 2.5. So that's why it's gone under. Because you got students that don't want to maintain a 3.0.
No, I'm saying like it doesn't cover like the full tuition even more, even if you have 3.0.
But that's so it actually does. Once your financial aid and everything goes through. So I'm going to tell you. So I have a nephew that plays football for Georgia State. He plays football for Georgia State, right? I can tell you he got some friends on there. They're red shirts. I don't know what the fuck a red shirt is. These red shirts don't get money for school. A lot of them are dependent on that Hope Scholarship. The Hope Scholarship pays for whatever financial aid isn't paying for. And them kids are going to school for free. They got to maintain that 3.0, bro. Back in the day, it was 2.5. They changed it to 3.0.
You can't college, like everybody can do it.
So here's the point. May I fucking finish? God damn it. Y'all need to start at pre-K. Fuck college. Here's the point, right? Tuition is tuition. I literally put this in the chat. You can get free tuition to Harvard, but how are you going to get to Harvard, right? Or whatever college. So this is why local community colleges are so important, because everyone doesn't have the money for travel. Everyone doesn't have the money for the additional expenses. Everyone doesn't have the money to stay on campus. With the state universities, right, because we just went through this with affirmative action. And that's the only reason the HBCU enrollment is up, by the way, because of affirmative action. We can already see that the Ivy League applications are down for Black students, for the Asian students as well. But oh well, that's another day to laugh at them for their foolish decisions. But here is my point. I don't think we want these bastions of education to depend on government funding, right? If we leave this up to the states, this was just in the news today. Actually, Tennessee State was running out of money, and the state literally owes them hundreds of millions of dollars, but they're not going to get that funding because they're an HBCU. So these colleges are already being played with, right? Especially the ones that are in more minority areas. So I am actually for research universities. As Dr. A.G. said, I don't think that these people take away from teaching the students. My sorority sister, my best friend, is actually a chemist, and she did the master's PhD program at U of H. There was some Chinese person, I don't know, child, some dude that was doing such and such, but she actually got to be published as a graduate student, and that was a pretty big deal for her. So, anywho, that's all.
You know,
so just to be clear,
let me break it down.
It's only one thing I want to say. Chess, it's only one thing I want to say. It's only one thing I want to say. I'm going to say it because it's only one thing I want to say. It's only one thing I want to say. So when we're talking about the elite schools that you all just spoke about, if you are a low-income student, they actually pay for you to get there. They pay for you to get back home. They also pay for room, board, and food. So that's a fact. That's what they do. But you go ahead and talk about the other schools. So I think I will agree with you on the other point.
What I'm saying is, I'm going to make it very simple. So in Georgia, the state school is Georgia State. I feel like if you can get in Georgia State, whatever their minimum requirements is, and you are a citizen of this country and there's room for you, you should be able to go for free. Just like you go to your local public school or high school. That is what I think. I think that should be available to America. Now, if you want to go to Harvard or motherfucking CAU or some private, then you got to pay the bread. But we have enough money in this country to fund the state schools and let our because I feel like, why is all my doctor's last name Patel? None of my doctor's last name is Williams or Brown or no shit.
That's because they went to school in Ukraine for $3,000 a year, and then they came to the United States on a visa.
Like Donald Trump.
Yeah, I don't know why we can hear that that's what they're doing, and then go, oh, what we do here for college students is ideal. I agree with Jess. A state college should be state funded. I also believe that if you can qualify to get into any state school that is of your state, you should get that free ride. And I also believe that a lot of the people we're complaining to on this app about their dumb shit they believe, the reason they're dumb is because we live in a society that doesn't fund in educating the working class and normalizes virtues that make sure they stay dumb, like college is a waste of time. They don't say that in other developing nations. You don't have a majority of the working class saying things like college is a waste of time. You're saying that
You know what? I also believe the unicorn and fucking mermaids.
I'm not.
You didn't hear nothing.
Why do I?
I don't give a fuck.
Come on, Patty. Come on.
I believe in unicorns and mermaids, and
You may disagree. Can I finish the sentence? Why? Because you just want to say mistruths about the racism of education?
Like, what the fuck? Tuitions have gone up.
Tuition rate is increasing by 40%.
But if people don't want to hear you talking, why do you keep on talking?
Wait, you can tell y'all black
Why are you yelling at me for calling you out?
How are we? I mean, but you know what? Let me be nice.
No, you're just making noise over me, and I'm not even saying anything controversial.
Y'all do, because y'all say no to everything. Oh, how about this? No. How about this?
You know what? That's
what y'all gonna say next? Go take a nap?
I'm gonna tell you like this. Maybe I am too moderate because I'm gonna tell you I follow with Miki. I got some conservative values. I'm gonna tell you, motherfucker. There you go, girl.
Yeah, you don't give a shit.
I don't think that that's.
If you're getting food stamps, I think you need to get them for 2 years.
You don't give a fuck about people.
You need to.
I don't think that's conservative. I don't think that's conservative.
Let me tell you something. This is where I fall with Miki, right? Sometimes I think we're on these programs and I think it needs to help you get where you need to go. But while you're getting where you need to go, you need to be proven that you're fucking doing some type of workshop to get better. You need to prove that your ass is trying to work and move forward. If not, your ass needs to be cut the fuck off. I'm Harriet Tubman. I'm shooting all you motherfuckers in the foot. Pew, 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 pew.
Let me just explain something to y'all. I don't know about y'all's state, but
to go back to Justice's earlier point about thinking how
you have to get on a work program. You have to show that you going to look for a job. They actually have a facility that you have to go to. You have to report. You can't just get like assistance and just be chilling on it. Not in no red state like Georgia. You have to, and then you can only be on it for a certain amount of time. So that's all. Just like y'all telling me this stuff with
I got you. But you know there's workarounds. I'm gonna tell you what some weird shit, right? And I got a homegirl. She's from New York, right? And my sister was the reason why she got out of her situation. But this motherfucker wasn't gonna get out of her situation.
As Marcy said,
she's going to school.
Bliss is not difficult. It only takes a few minutes to locate a chair and experience the bliss of unbounded awareness with Maharshi's Transcendental Meditation Program. Invincibility for a country is a matter of days, just a matter of organizing and training groups of peace-promoting experts. So the world is poised for a complete transformation. Maharshi is compassionately offering that scientifically proven knowledge, and the only scientifically proven knowledge that has the capacity to bring peace and to transform civilization quickly, easily, and delightfully. Maharshi, this week and next week, much of the world is moving towards a holiday time of celebration of Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa. The hubbub of politics in Washington, D.C. has settled down with Congress gone, and the international diplomatic community also leaving to go home to their countries to celebrate a period of rest and of peace. And the questions this week are focusing on deeper issues of enlightenment, of God realization, and of prayer. The first question is a follow-up of Maharshi's remark of last week about desire. Maharshi has said that the ability to fulfill one's desires is the key to living an invincible life. Maharshi explained that when a desire is consciously created at the source of thought, the ocean of consciousness, then that desire will be fulfilled because it has the support of all the laws of nature. Maharshi, what kind of desire will be created from the source of thought? Will it be an individual's desire or God's desire?
Every desire is for some fulfillment. So, on the source of desire is the ocean. Like an ocean, rising up in a wave. The wave may be rising, but not knowing that the point of rising itself is the source, is the goal of it. When the wave settles down, then it is ocean. When it rises into something, then it becomes isolated and it comes in space and time. And when it sinks, it goes beyond boundaries, beyond space and time. And always because the essential nature of life is unbounded, infinity, all possibility, which is unified field. And therefore, this silence at the source of thought, if that is open to our awareness, then our awareness is the field of all possibility. Yes, that is education. That is education. You train the mind to think anything, but consciously at the source of thought. Now, to distinguish it, we should say, the thoughts arise as the winds of the environment. Something happening here, the senses, the eye see this and the speech speaks this and touches this, is something on the surface. And in this, the thoughts float from one area of surface to the other area of surface. This is life of the sensory perception. And when one transcends, then one gets to the source of all thoughts, source of all seeing is in that field, which is the basis of all, the source of thought, the source of hearing, the source of touch, the source of all the five senses. And that is within everyone. This is education. Whatever we want in the field of vision, get to the source of thought from where the vision begins, and then you will be able to see anything within yourself. If you want to speak something, then you get to the transcendental field, and your source of thought will consciously give you a springboard, which will be supported by all the laws of nature. That is education. That is Vedic education, from where you can have what you want within yourself. That means you can have everything at the source of everything that is in your own transcendental consciousness, the field of all knowledge, all possibilities, all intelligence, the field of sovereignty, the field of invincibility. That is our achievement in all these 30, 40, 50 years of the world. We have tried here and there and there and there and there, and now we have come to a level that is very, very easy and natural, very, very easy, natural, and definite that the conscious mind could be thinking consciously at the source of thought, transcendental field of life. Transcendental field of life is the field of the Veda. What is Veda? Veda, in this regard, we can define to be the constitution of the universe. Laws of nature that conduct nature. That conduct nature means all the galactic universe, here, there, everywhere, all these specimens of days and nights and move and non-move.
Of the self,
all that is
which plays hide and seek forever and ever. When it plays hide, it plays it so well, hides so cleverly, that it pretends to be all of us and all things whatsoever, and we don't know it because it's playing hide. But when it plays seek, it enters onto a path of yoga, and through following this path, it wakes up, and the scales fall from one's eyes. Now, in just the same way, the center of Buddhism, and the only really important thing about Buddhism is the experience which they call awakening. Buddha is a title and not a proper name. It comes from a Sanskrit root, Bud, and that sometimes means to know, but better, waking. And so you get from this root, Bodhi, that is the state of being awakened, and so Buddha, the awakened one, the awakened person. And so there can, of course, in Buddhist ideas, be very many Buddhas. The person called the Buddha is only one of myriads, because they, like the Hindus, are quite sure that our world is only one among billions, and that Buddhas come and go in all the worlds. But sometimes, you see, there comes into the world what you might call a big Buddha, a very important one. And such a one is said to have been Gautama, the son of a prince living in northern India, in the part of the world we now call Nepal, living shortly after 600 BC. All dates in Indian history are vague, and so I never tried to get you to remember any precise date, like 564, which some people think it was. But just after 600 BC is probably right. Most of you, I'm sure, know the story of his life. But the point is that when in India a man was called a Buddha or the Buddha, this is a title of a very exalted nature. It is first of all necessary for a Buddha to be human. He can't be any other kind of being, whether in the Hindu scale of beings he's above the human state or below it. He is superior to all gods because, according to Indian ideas, gods and angels, or angels would probably be a better name for them than gods, all those exalted beings are still in the wheel of becoming, still in the chains of karma, that is action, which requires the need for more action to complete it, and goes on requiring the need for more action. They're still, according to popular ideas, going round the wheel from life after life after life after life, because they still have the thirst for existence, or to put it in a Hindu way, in them the self is still playing the game of not being itself. But the Buddha's doctrine, based on his own experience of awakening, which occurred after 7 years of attempts to study with the various yogis of the time, all of whom used the method of extreme asceticism, fasting, doing all sorts of exercises, lying on beds of nails, sleeping on broken rocks, any kind of thing to break down egocentricity, to become unselfish, to become detached, to exterminate desire for life. But Buddha found that all that was futile. That was not the way. And one day he broke his ascetic discipline and accepted a bowl of some kind of milk.
I think I missed that she went home, so I wasn't home.
She's been home for, I don't know, a month and a half, so she was in for about 4 months. And, like last Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that, about 10:30 at night, my daughter, Sophie, was like, Mom, there is just something not right with her. Then she started throwing up, just violently throwing up. And
we can help cleanse the house as they
Fantastic idea. Do you have like a smudge stick that you use for that, or is there any particular?
Well, I kind of use the magic eraser. I use the magic eraser.
Is that an Australian thing?
Well, the smudge stick.
No, it's a smudge stick. What's a smudge stick?
Yeah, smudge stick. It's good,
Maybe if we treat them with bleach, would bleach help?
Oh yes, absolutely. The bleach.
That's President
The Topalies are into anal bleaching, for what I've been told.
As long as it's ethnically cleansed.
Yeah. That's what I've been told.
Yeah, as long as it's conflict-free sourced bleach, everyone's good, right?
Yeah.
So, what sort of bait do you use to?
Well, I don't know. It's kind of like type.
It's not that good. You guys.
It is good.
It's not that
pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the best ever, but it was good. It's really enjoyable. Really enjoyable.
It's decent.
Is it a Batman show? It is.
It's about people.
Say things different languages.
You're correct. You're absolutely correct. Look, I'm a data scientist.
Yeah, and what happened is people would just kind of screw around and record somebody else's voice, or have somebody else read through the text, and AI would still produce their tone, their tenor of voice, which means that regardless, they were harvesting your you speaking that whole time, and they would use that database to create it. It's kind of scary.
So, do you know of cognitive sciences, like in AI?
Say what?
Cognitive sciences.
I mean, I've done a little bit of cognitive philosophy and stuff, but I'm not I'm not an expert.
So they are basically constructing the model of the cognitive sciences with this. But never mind. I guess with the free apps, your national securities are sometimes in threat. Maybe your thoughts are sometimes in threat as well, right? Like some of the people, those who are talking about states stand with Palestine, right? And they're unknowingly exposing their thoughts to Jewish lobby, right?
Hey Andre, you say they harvesting voices. Who would be the
owners of the
I think owners of the clubhouse, they've been, keeping the database of people.
Are they gonna sell it to someone one day or something?
No. I guess like they don't need to keep the database. By the way, they would be directly preparing a knowledge base and a model from here, by training their AI. Right? I think so.
I mean, usually what happens is you have this free app, and once it gets popular and people are hooked up on it, they change their policies and terms of service. Eventually, they get to the point where they'll say, "Oh, listen, like all the data that you're submitting, we can use for third-party advertisement and stuff like this." And this is when you know that they start your information. I mean, it's happened with Facebook. It happened with LinkedIn.
But I know, like, the Facebook is having, like, I know, like, from where the Facebook, WhatsApp and all are earning money. But, I still was, like, trying to understand, like, how Clubhouse is making money, right? I know, like, we all know, like, how Facebook can make money, a part of, like, stealing the data and whatever. But, like, how Clubhouse is making the money, that's a big question and always going in my mind.
Look, I mean, one of the things that I can think of the top of my head, and I know it's not very creative, but there are lots of people who are voice actors, right? But if you have a library, a catalog of, I don't know, like 10,000 voices, male and female, in all different languages, I mean, you can clean it up in terms of advertisement or any sort of gaming industry, all of those things. I mean, that the woman, case in point, the woman who did the Siri voice, I think she was in San Fran, I want to say. I might be wrong. But anyway, like, she did it for a university project. She is the voice of Siri worldwide. She didn't get any commission, considerable commission of it. It's just like she got pennies of that project.
Totally agree. So, I know a friend of mine who's here in India has recently got funded $600 million US dollars for his project, and he has sold it project to Bollywood. Bollywood?
Of course. I grew up on Bollywood. In Soviet Union, it was like one of the main entertainment.
Great. So he's selling out to Bollywood and Tollywood to that project, and he already have got initial clients, and he's having a sales of like $1 billion, if you won't believe, right? And that's actually a voice changing application. Like, suppose there are like singers, so you just need to type the lyrics now, and that will automatically sing a song on the choice of your artist.
Crazy. All right, I got to go say hi to the fam.
Yeah, take care, Andre. It was really nice chatting with you, by the way.
All right, guys, I'm probably going to close the room. I'll be opening the room and healthy debates in a minute. So, see you guys over. We'll make it.
I've got up actually when I'm going to go to gym. Thanks.
Accelerated the past 18 months.
Maybe it's accelerated, but it's not a new trend. But it's not a new trend.
Definitely not a new trend.
But it was at a point where they wouldn't stop people from talking, though, right? Like that is. It wasn't this bad.
Freedom of speech exists in journalism, not the right. Sorry, go ahead.
Anyone with the delusional Patty's delusional. No, Patty's cool. No, Patty's cool. Not even in her own room. So
what you got kicked out?
I'm just saying they're just how they are. They're like weak. Like, you don't find niggas picking people up because they come say some like crazy shit like she's delusional. She's mad.
No, it's not Patty, bro. It's not Patty.
It's not Patty. It's not Miss Lady. It's not Lisa. Yeah, it's not convenient.
Wait,
Yeah, it is not. Yeah, let me say real quick. It's not Patty first.
I was in the Kamala house yesterday.
First lady, or it's not Lisa.
Listen, I was at the Kamala house yesterday, and she was like crying about Trump, and I wrote in the chat, Patty's still mad that Trump won. She kicked me out of the room after that. She's mad that I said that.
It's not Patty, bro. Trust me. I used to go in that room.
I didn't know it was her. I didn't know it was her.
I used to go in that room.
Talking, the other mods were quiet for a long time.
That don't mean that. Wait. That don't mean the other mods didn't boot you out.
No, they didn't do it. There was only 2 other mods, and they were quiet for like 30 minutes. It was only her talking. And then I wrote in the chat, I even name dropped her. I said, Patty is still mad that Trump won. And I got kicked out. And
yeah, but let me ask you this. What was the point of the room? What was the point of the room?
Oh, it was late night. They were discussing about something.
So, like,
about
look,
Trump,
like, freedom of speech is, like, look, freedom of speech is cool, like, especially when you want to go on public platforms and so on. But, like, having the right to kick you out of my house is also a right, bro. Like,
no, again, I'm not saying
if I don't like
she's
it,
not
I don't
black.
care.
I'm just saying what she is. That's what you do, Mike. I'm not
I knew you were gonna do
controlling her.
this. Hold on, dude. Like, let me finish my point, bro. Like, what you said was you were referring to someone's feelings, right, about a specific person. That's not like, oh, hey, this is freedom of speech. I mean, I guess it's technically freedom of speech, but, like, look, dude, if it's a Kamala Harris fucking room, it's a Kamala Harris house, and they don't like what they hear, it's like, bye, bitch. That's their house. What's? I don't get it. What's wrong
So,
with
Mike, here's the problem. What's wrong?
That's a fact.
No, it's
Wait,
not.
I want to hear.
The reason why it's not a fact is simply this.
Yeah.
You can't pretend to be for freedoms and rights and say that, oh my God, Donald Trump's going to take our rights away. And then on the other end, act just like him. Or just
Why
like
not?
version.
Why not?
Because then it makes you a hypocrite.
No, not contextually to a room.
Yes, it does.
The first thing the first thing I asked, right, because I didn't want to speak broad, because I didn't want this type of comment to come back. I said, what was the point of the room, right? The point of the room, and he's like, I don't know, they were talking about something that was late at night, right? So if they're talking about something late at night, and he doesn't remember what it was, and it wasn't per context of politics, because he would have said that, I gave him the opportunity, then guess what? Maybe at that time, they just don't want to hear it. So you have
I'm just talking about in general.
Hold on. I know what you're saying. You're speaking about something that I didn't refer to, which is why I usually ask questions. Like, I'll just tell everybody in this room, stylistically, I like the cross-examination style. Most of the time, I'm going to ask a question, and I'm going to use what you say against yourself, right? So I'm just saying, the reason why I asked that question is because I didn't want a comment like this to come back around. I think, look, if I'm in my house, you come in my house, I don't have to like anything you say. In fact, I would rather have that freedom more than any fucking bullshit freedom of speech shit. The right to kick you out just because I fucking want to, right? That's cool, right? So here's the thing. You guys somebody went in there, you said something, they said bye, and now you're complaining about it? Wouldn't you do the same thing?
Mike, the complaint is because they invite people to come speak. The people that are in the opposition. Then once you go up there and you speak, that's when they kick you out.
But
and
that's
I think
not what he said, though, Matt. That's not what he said.
Is what. But I think that's what the greater point was, because they will say literally, "Where are all the Trumpers? Why are the Trumpers not coming on stage?"
No,
and then school will go up there.
That's not what he said. Look, if that's what he said, I wouldn't have even come off mic, right?
But Yaakov, don't you think that they should just be open? I mean, just open to like a tiny little state for this minority. Like instead of wanting to kill us.
No. Hey guys.
They're pretty strict on that rule. Unfortunately, they're pretty. It's pretty black and white, pretty cut and dry with them.
I mean, in California, can't you just like literally break into someone else's house and stay there?
That's only partially true.
As long as you make it past the 30-day mark.
That's right. That's what I was referring to.
bang, because I wanted to tell them that 2/4 is the same as 1/2. And so, I told some students to start banging the desk 1, 2, 1, 2, and then the others 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I wanted to show them that they meet at regular intervals. And I had a small class. I had like 13 kids or something. But then it was a whole mess. And
to Palestine and to some of them went to New York. They went mostly they went to New York and they went to Palestine, right? So the Jews that decided that they're not going to leave, right? The ones that said, oh, fuck that shit, we're not leaving. Those were the ones that got rounded up and got thrown into concentration camps. That's not even the point, though. But once he started migrating these Jews to Palestine and New York, their fucking economy.
Look, if they're talking to somebody within opposition, are they being a hypocrite?
No, but what they are is delusional and sick in the head. Delusional and sick in the head.
Now you're
it's not like a you're equal to us thing.
Oh.
In my opinion.
Because we're obviously better, right? Because Jewish supremacy, right?
Yeah, no, if I was in Amir's room, that's why he would say that.
Yeah.
All I'm just saying is righteous Gentile. Like, everyone should aspire to be a righteous Gentile if you're a Gentile. Like,
a righteous Gentile?